Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're here. First of all, there's nothing wrong with your video. It's frozen on purpose. I needed to explain a little bit because basically I had to edit out a lot of footage because most of it was shot of my butt because the space, as you see here, is kind of tight. So the three batteries on the top there are what I used to have installed. I bought those two-ish years ago or so, maybe 3 years. I don't know. They're the EG4LL version 2 batteries. They come with that LCD screen. They're a great battery. They have fire suppression inside, but they were just a little bit, more than what I needed. I was kind of brand new to the scene. I didn't really understand the value of an LCD screen or not, and obviously, I don't really feel I need one because the three batteries on the bottom are the Life Power 4 batteries, version 1, I believe. They have a version 2 now that have two terminals for each there. But since I'm just attaching them to a bus bar, I'm not daisy chaining them together or anything like that in parallel from battery to battery. I don't really need two of the terminals there. So what I'm doing is I bought this case around the outside, and that is going to be where I put all the batteries in this video. And if you see on the left, I changed the wall configuration around a little bit. This is what it used to look like. And there's three older batteries on the bottom there. So thanks for your patience. We'll get things started here in a jiff. When you begin any job, of course, it's wise to, well, some might say the most important thing to turn off all the power sources. So here I'm opening up the PV disconnects and the battery disconnects and the battery breakers, the BMS. Just even though it's 48 volts, you can touch it generally without any risk of electrocution. Obviously, turning everything off is the safest, especially if you run any risk of crossing from the positive and negative bus bar. Here's the actual server rack that I got. That thing was pretty light, but it was easier to roll it in there. As I stated earlier, I had to move the battery disconnects a little bit higher so that they fit just perfectly underneath that cabinet. Here I needed to, well, I didn't need to, but it's just better if everything is screwed into a stud, and so that's what those wood blocks are for. Not really perfectly. I think ideally you want everything mounted to a fireproof kind of resistant, paneling, so wood isn't the best choice there. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't use me as an example pretty much ever. So there this was a shot where my butt was in the way, so I just skipped all of it. Each battery has two spots on each side, so four total screws for each battery, where it just kind of holds it in place on the server rack. You just, I don't know, we don't really get earthquakes here, but honestly, I almost skipped that part because you don't really need it. There I am torquing all of the connections onto the batteries themselves. I kind of skipped ahead since it was a bad angle, the connections into the bus bar. Turned on the batteries, and there, turned on everything, disconnects, everything's hooked up. And the lights came on, which is always a good sign. That's the old, you can see how disorganized it was, where the batteries are collecting dust, and there's the new. I think it's obviously a much cleaner design, much better. The batteries are not collecting dust. That cabinet is worth every penny. I think it came in around $500, but being able to have the batteries up and out of the way, I can use the top for more storage, which, as you can kind of see based on the shelves and the disorganization of everything, I can kind of use the extra storage. So being able to have that space on top and is kind of like a little extension of my workbench there. So it's pretty nice improvement. I think it was worth it. Also kind of protects the batteries a little bit more, protects the the exposure for any chance or risk of electrocution, just in case you happen to drop something metal on top and it were to perfectly fit between the positive and negative terminal. You don't want that. Ask my friend who did that on a submarine with a submarine battery. But anyway, moving on to there's a rule why you don't take anything that metal that is uninsulated longer than, what was it, 6 inches into the battery well. I forget the inch requirement, but yeah, anything longer than that has to be half wrapped, double wrapped, or should have been. so you don't get explodey metal all up and down your arm. Anyway, moving on. I'm sorry I couldn't show you more of the install. I just had to pretty much cut everything from the video. Almost not really a video worth making, but since I had the footage, I figured, hey, why not just upload them anyway? So figured that was probably the best thing to do. And yeah, again, Signature Solar, I might sound like maybe I should get some affiliate links for Signature Solar because I do really enjoy the company. I live in Texas. They are kind of east of Dallas, Sulphur Springs, if you're familiar with the area. I don't know, maybe like an hour eastish of Dallas, somewhere in that range. Anyway, Signature Solar, I really recommend them. I just found out recently that the owner of that company is actually the also owner or co founder, something of EG4. And I didn't realize that you basically call the same number for tech support for EG4 products and also Signature Solar. So honestly, I I think that's really cool. Every time I've called, like for example, on these batteries, I had to with the LL. Maybe I should have started off with this. Yeah, maybe I'll put a footnote in here because it's not just as easy as I showed. So what I'm talking about is with the LL batteries, the lifetime lithium batteries, which are the three on the top. Those batteries you have to update the firmware unless you got them maybe really recently, they're brand new and they ship with the latest firmware, which I don't know the likelihood of that. Basically, you should check the firmware, make sure it's upgraded at the latest version, and that way you can daisy chain the BMS communication together so that way all of the batteries talk together and then the lead battery talks to the inverter. That is the better way to do it. The inverters can just read battery voltage and you tell it that it's a lithium battery, lithium iron phosphate, and it's you know it's it'll work. It works just fine. But it things are better when the inverters know more information, and so they're not only going based on the voltage. So that way, everything's talking and communicating. But like I said, you need to upgrade the firmware. I think the only thing that I wish it would have come with, and I mean, I guess why they didn't, because you can just buy the size that you need. But I really kind of didn't think about ahead of time. I wish they would have come with, or at least maybe they did warn somewhere, but where the cables fit through on the hole on the left, it's kind of a pre-cut out hole that you just knock out. There's like 8 of those maybe around, so you can do them on the side, you can do them on the back, you can do them on the bottom. I forget all the locations, but there's a lot of locations of the knockouts based on where you want to put that cabinet. So I just wish that I would have thought about that and bought, kind of a oh man, I'm drawing a blank now. The plastic ring that you put on metal so that as the cable rubs up against the metal, it doesn't cut through or wear. I forget the um I can't think of the name of that right now. The knockout plastic thing cover protector. Anyway, I wish it would have came with that. As it was, it wasn't a big deal. I basically just wrapped a glove around the cable, and that was good enough until I was able to buy the right size and product. So, I mean, I get why they didn't include that because it's kind of I don't know, it's a few bucks, but instead of including a package that had, I think there's like several different sizes of the knockouts, they'll just let you buy your own. I mean, that's fine. I didn't really mind about, too much about that. Anyway, as if I haven't talked long enough already, I wish you all a good day, good night, good morning, good afternoon, good guten morgen, hasta luego, whatever time of buenos dios, whatever type of thing, whatever language. Yeah. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and hope that God blesses all of you guys. Even though YouTube says 100% of my viewers are male, I know that that's wrong because my mom was telling me how she watches my YouTube videos. So that was great to hear that she watches them and has a lot of fun. Even though she even watched the lighter review just because she liked hearing my voice, and I thought that was pretty fun. So thanks, mom, if you're watching. I love you. Hope you guys enjoyed, and again, have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Goodbye, guys.